bringing people. Okay, come on in, everybody. Give just a moment for everybody to come on in here. I'm going to get this going live on Facebook. Welcome. Let us know where you are coming from today, who you are, where you are, all of those good things. And we will be kicking this off in just a second here. Let's make sure it's going to live stream for me today. Okay, I think we are good, I hope. Okay. Is it live streaming? It is. All right, awesome. Okay. All right, everybody. Woo! Welcome back. Who all was in the Women in Publishing Summit 2 weeks ago? Almost 2 weeks. Yeah, I guess it was about 2 weeks ago that we were in there. I hope you are recovered and feeling good and feeling like you learned a lot of things. And the live event may be over, but we still have plenty of bonus sessions and sponsor webinars and all of the things. Welcome to our friends from the Write, Publish, Sell community as well, and those from the Women in Publishing Summit community that did not participate in the conference. We're really happy to have you here today. So this is part of our sponsor webinar series. As you all, or most of you know, we have a bunch of sponsors who have supported the Women in Publishing Summit and our community. And every month we have 1 to 2 webinars from our sponsors. So if you are looking for some free webinars to learn some new and fun, interesting information about the writing, publishing, and selling journey, please make sure that you head on over to womeninpublishingsummit.com/events to see what we have coming up. Also, we have just announced that we're doing a live book marketing event in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 4 through 6. So that is under the tab on our website that says 2024 conference. You'll see the Join Us in Charlotte page. So please check that out as well. We would love to see you. We're still adding our speakers and content and everything to that, but we are ready to get things rolling. All right, so today we are here to talk about author assistance, and we lump a lot of things into the author assistant category because along your journey to write, publish, and sell, you may need help from the very get-go with writing accountability coaches, with training courses, all of those types of things, then moving into editing. Then as you get into the production of your book and marketing, launch and post-launch, there's just a lot of areas where you may need a lot of support. And just a little bit of background on this, over the past few years, well, basically since we began everything that we're doing, we get the question so much: how do I find an assistant to help me with XYZ? How do I find somebody who can help me implement these things? How do I find an editor? How do I find a book coach? How do I find all of these elements? And it's been on my to-do list for years to set up some kind of training around this, or website, or way to connect authors with all of these author assistants that are out there doing work to help authors make it through whatever part of the journey that they need help with. And I saw Brian and I have been connected for quite a while. We support each other in a lot of different avenues, and he's the host of the Fiction Marketing Academy. He also runs a company called Book Ads, where they provide marketing support, especially for Amazon ads, etc. And he posted in a group that we're both in that he was setting up this community to connect author assistants to authors. And I said, I want to be a part of this. How can I be a part of this? So a partnership was born out of that. So we are really excited to bring you this presentation on how to find help, who you might need for help, and some of the questions and things go along with that. And then we'll talk about Busy Bee, a new, let's call it a matchmaking service, where authors can go to the directory and look at all the different people that we are pulling together that can offer support. So without further ado, Brian, would you like to say anything as we get started? Or we can, if you want to say anything that I missed from your bio that you think is important, please take the opportunity to do so before we charge right ahead.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Alexa. I'm really glad to be here, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I'm on the other side of the pond from most of you, so there might be a little lag, but I think we'll get that sorted during the webinar. Really excited. As Alexa said, it's been I was getting the exact same emails. How do I get help? I do this? How do I do that? And so there are services out there, and of course we're going to get in depth in just a bit. But there are services out there, but they simply are not for authors and by authors. And so, because we're a very special, we felt like it was needed to have a specific service for matchmaking, basically assistants and authors. So yeah, I'm excited to show you what the site looks like in just a bit, and I'm glad you're all here.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started sharing the presentation, and we will get into this. Just as a reminder, there is a Q&A box. If you have questions, please drop those in there, and we plan on having a lot of time to answer questions at the end of our presentation. It's a fairly short presentation and then a demonstration of the website. This is a free service for authors, so we're not going to ask you to pay anything, which is always a benefit. So let's get into this. Okay. Is that good? Can we see everything?
We can.
Okay. All right. So growing your team, how to find support with Alexa Bigwarfe. That's me, and Brian Berni, my co-host and co-partner in this journey. So I gave you a little bit of background on both of us, but both of us have been in the industry for a while. We are both book marketing and publishing experts. We're both authors as well, so we can fully understand what all of you are going through as you're trying to figure out all the things along the way. We love to collaborate together through different things throughout the years, and this is just our next opportunity to help authors together in the best way that we can. And that's all I need to say about us at this point. So what we're covering today, we're going to talk about the type of support you may need, questions to ask a provider, which is something that's really important. A lot of people know that they need help with doing XYZ, but they're not quite sure how to approach that person or what things they need to know before they hire somebody, or even what they need, or who is the right person to do that. Budget, we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to show you BusyBee, your matchmaking service for the providers that do all the things. So this picture I just absolutely love, because anybody who is in the throes of writing and marketing and publishing, obviously, a book, you know, you're told by all the people all the time, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to be doing podcasts and getting on TikTok and building your email list. And oh my goodness, where should you be? How should you be growing your branding and visibility and reviews and all the things, creating your speaking events and signings, doing networking, going to conferences, running ads. There's so many things that can happen. And it's kind of like, oh, where do I start? How do I do this? What's my plan? And how can I possibly do all of these things and write my books? Well, the easy answer to that, well, the easy answer on paper at least, is outsourcing. This may not be easy if you are on a very limited budget, which I know and appreciate very much what that is like. But the reality is it's very difficult to do all of these things on our own, especially with your first, I'd say first, maybe even second, third through 5 books, just because you are learning so many things about writing craft and trying to find the time to fit writing into your busy life and doing all of this. So how do you possibly do all of the other pieces that come along? So some of the questions you might consider is, what help do you actually need to move forward in your author journey? What are the things that you would want to outsource to somebody else that would allow you to spend more time writing and doing the personal writing, the personal things that you need to do? And I've never tried to do a poll before, but I have a poll, and I'm going to see, yes, it's here. Okay. So because we're super interested in what our audience especially needs help with, I would love it if you could take a minute to answer the questions on this poll. Hopefully that should have, like I said, I've never done a poll before. Hopefully that should have just popped up. Brian, did it pop up? Okay, cool. So you can select, you should be able to select as many things on here as you are needing help with. And we'd love to know where it is that you are needing the most help. I have no idea how long this runs, but I'm going to give it a good minute or so. Wow, wow, wow. I see a clear winner, front runner on here, which is in our Brian's area of expertise for sure, ads. Definitely. We've got a pretty good spread across the whole thing. If you chose other, can you please drop in the chat what that other is? Because I'd be really interested in knowing. But marketing, no surprise, and ads. That's where I see in my community too that people need the most amount of help. And so I'm not really surprised by this. Anything jumping out as surprising to you, Brian?
No, I'm also the admin support is something that we often hear about, and tech support. So yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to give about 5 more seconds and then I'm going to close this down. So, okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you for participating in that. That was fun. Now I can share the results. Can everybody see that? I don't know what pops up on your screen. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see marketing as a front runner, ads as a front runner, content creation, a lot of those types of things that are highly they're very specific things, and they have a high skill behind them. So it's not a surprise that this is where everyone would feel like they need some help. All right, I don't know how to move that out of the way. This is the list again. A lot of these things are really specialized skills. And if they aren't specialized skills, they take a lot of time. For example, if you go down to event prep and setup or booking events, people can learn how to set up a book event and how to do a book signing, but there's a lot of time involved in reaching out to bookstores or reaching out to libraries or venues or other things of that nature where you may just need to hire somebody who can give you a hand in coming up with a list of places that can be contacted, maybe drafting an email, maybe reaching out for you so that you're not spending hours of your time doing that. Obviously, cover design, formatting, those are very specialized skills. When it comes to the ads piece of it, ads can go real wrong real fast. In fact, one of my friends, Michelle, recently ran some paid promos, and the promos went great. She got a lot of downloads of her books, but that something happened on the back end of her ads, and because her pages were getting a lot more views on them, her ad spend went like out the window. So sometimes if there's something set incorrectly on the back end, I've made massive mistakes on Facebook ads where in one day spent $5,000 on a big mistake that resulted in nothing. So some of these things, it's in your best interest to make sure that you have an expert helping you in the beginning, at least to set things up properly so that you don't run into issues. And some of these things are probably just absolutely brand new and completely outside of your area of knowledge at all, like the tech stuff behind setting up an email CRM and connecting it to your website and making sure that everything happens right. And when somebody gets on your email list, that they get delivered whatever you promised them and are added to a sequence and all of those types of things. So these are important things that come along with your book marketing and your book production, but there are other people who can help you do them way faster and well, efficiently, and help you so that you don't wind up with a bunch of problems on the back end. So there are some people who just don't want to do anything by themselves. And I want to spend a moment to talk about that. I first want to say that as a publisher and as a book marketing expert, if you're unwilling to do any marketing on your own, yes, you can absolutely pay for a bunch of services and a bunch of help. But if you are not also out there doing things to help grow your own audience, it's going to be really challenging for you. You can put thousands of dollars into ads, into campaigns, into all kinds of things, but that's a piece that helps you grow once you're already doing your other things. So I just want to say that no matter what, you should spend some time learning some basic marketing, spend some time growing your own personal brand, spend some time getting on podcasts or going to events or doing things so that people see you, connect with you, hear you, and then you can have other people do some of the other stuff that you don't want to do, like creating the content for social media and posting them, like running your ads, like all of those. But if you absolutely don't have the time or energy, you should consider hiring a full service company, or you can consider coming in and having multiple people help you from the freelancer perspective, which is something that we can definitely help you out through Busy Bee, so that you've got someone running your email and you've got someone running your tech stuff and you've got someone doing your ads, etc. So who should you hire? So here's a little myth that's out there. I can just hire a VA for $10 an hour, and a VA is a virtual admin, if you've never heard that. And that person can do all the things for me. They can run my social media, and they can run my ads, and they can do my email inbox, and they can do blah, 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 blah. That is not true. First of all, nobody works for $10 an hour anymore at a very special, especially in specialized things. Now, you can find help for someone who's helping you with basic admin at the $10 to $15 range. That is absolutely still possible these days. But when you get into the specialty skills, you need to understand that these folks are very specialized. They've spent a lot of time, energy, money, probably learning their skill and doing these things. And there's a lot that happens on the back end to help you. So you should know, if you're looking for somebody to do these higher end things like building your website, creating your marketing strategy, running your ads, you're going to want to get somebody who is an expert in those areas. Editing, as an example, book cover designers and formatters. You want experts because you don't want to have to pay to have somebody else redo what somebody who wasn't really qualified to do that did for you. So virtual admins are amazing. I work with multiple VAs, and they make my life better every single day. But I also have experts in ads. I have experts in social media. I have experts in all these other things. They may refer to themselves as a virtual admin and be an expert in there. So that's why you need to, ask some questions that I'll get into in a minute on what their expertise is, et cetera, et cetera. But when it comes down to who should you hire, I think there's a couple of components to it. One, what are the things that make you want to pull your hair out and scream every single day? That is probably something you should try to outsource, especially like in the very beginning when I was learning how to do all the things. I taught myself InDesign. I brought on a client. She had a pretty simple journal that I thought I could create fairly easily for her. And I charged her $175 to do this project. That simple journal took me over 50 hours to do because I was new at learning InDesign, and formatting is quite challenging. And so that's something I really wish that I had paid somebody else $150 who knew what they were doing to do for me. So if it's going to take you tons and tons of time and make you want to lose your mind, that's probably somebody that you should invest, a skill that you should invest in with time and services. What are the things you enjoy doing? Those are the things you can probably learn how to do on your own, or if you already know how to do them, do them. If they're bringing you joy every day, if they're adding to your experience, keep those things. And unless you've just completely run out of time, what do you have no idea how to do? If you have no idea how to set up Facebook ads, you probably are not going to want to DIY that, because you can get in a lot of trouble really quickly if things are not set up properly, if they're not targeted to the right audiences, if your budget isn't correct. So many things can go wrong in those. And then what would save you the most time if you were able to outsource it? Because again, we're writing books, and if we're spending all day long writing emails and writing blog posts and writing Facebook ad copy and trying to figure out how to set up your ads on Amazon correctly and trying to learn how to do InDesign and trying all these things. It takes you away from the time to do what your primary job and mission is, which is writing books, because I can give you all the best marketing advice in the entire world. I can spend money on you. And through ads, I can do everything that I would teach anybody how to do. But the fact is, if you don't have books to sell, it doesn't matter how much money you're spending on it, because one book probably isn't going to get you to a livable wage unless it's a nonfiction book and you have a business behind it and it's part of a revenue stream for that. But for fiction authors, it's going to be very, you've got to have books out there. You've got to have the books for people to buy to make any money. So you got to make time to write those books. Some of the questions, and just so you know, you don't have to write all of these things down. We actually are going to provide you a cool little workbook at the end where you can actually, it's more in depth than this. It'll have you go through and look at the tasks that you need to do, the tasks you need to outsource, questions, all the things. So you'll get a workbook that will help you with that. But some of the questions, if you're hiring on a new assistant or someone to do, especially if we're looking here more in the obviously a book editor and a book cover designer work with authors regularly. So these questions don't apply to publishers, editors, those types of things. But if you're hiring on an assistant or someone who's helping you with general admin, or maybe even with social media, or certainly someone who is a general admin but says they help authors publish their books, then you're going to want to dig into their experience. This is another reason why Busy Bee is such a great option, is because we only bring in people who are specialized to work with authors. But some questions you may ask: do you work with authors regularly? Can you share about some of the authors you've worked with and the tasks that you do for them? How do you work? This is really, really important. What tools are you going to be using? i.e., are they going to be using a project management tool and sharing that with you? What's their general timeline? How do they provide deliverables to you? Is it something that's going to be provided every day, every week, every month? Are we going to meet together on Zoom or phone calls, or just handle it through email, so that you have a good idea for how much engagement you're going to be in there? One thing I didn't put on the slide here, but what are the expectations of what I need to provide to you? I know when I first had my website redesigned, I thought, I'm hiring a website expert. They're just going to figure it all out. I had no idea that what they needed was branding and fonts and copy and images, and they will create a beautiful design, but you have to provide assets to them. So knowing what you have to provide and create for that person before they move on. Same with your ads. You have to have a book cover. You have to have the keywords and categories. So if those are things you need help with, is that something they can also help you with, or are you expected to provide those for them? This is a big one. Do you work on an hourly rate or a project basis? And basically that means, are you going to charge me for every minute of time that you spend working on this? Or are you going to give me a project package rate that says, I will set up your Amazon ads for $1,000, or whatever that is? You want to make sure that you know and understand that. And most service providers will provide that information to you off the get-go, or it may already be on their website. But if that doesn't come up in the conversation, make sure you ask that. And then, what are your rates? How do you bill? Do I have to pay for everything? If it's a $4,000 or $5,000 website project, do I have to pay? When do I have to pay? And can I have payment installations, and what needs to be paid at what time? And then, do you offer assistance on other types of things? So you have to know what other support you need, which is a big thing to think about, because a lot of authors are like, I just need help. I'm not even sure what I need help with. Well, what types of things are you working on? And specifically, what do you need help doing? The more that you can come into this relationship prepared with the type of help that you need, the better they'll be able to provide for you. So that was my overview. I'm actually going to stop share now, and I'm going to pass the presentation over to Brian, and he's going to tell you more about Busy Bee itself as our website, or as our directory for allowing you to find the right people to help you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alexa. I'm going to share my screen now. If I can find it. Can you see Busy Bee?
There we go. There we go.
Cool. So this is the home side, the home page. It's where it all happens. Before I get into the details, I just wanted to point out the fact that, like Alexa said, the main thing for us when we started the site was let's make it work as soon as possible and then make refinements as we go. And I've got quite a few refinements coming up, and I'd like to tell you about in just a bit. But the main thing for us was let's make matches between authors and assistants, and let's make this as useful as possible right from the get-go. So as an author, you have essentially you can obviously browse the site, and this is a very sort of straight to the point homepage. But as an author, you can do two things mainly. The first thing is up here on the right, top right, you'll see this red button that says post your job. Now, what you do here is essentially is posting a job as if you were in like a job board. So you have an idea of what you need, and you're submitting your call for help to all the assistants. And so enter your first name, last name, the type of assistant you need, and then you've got the possibility to write, a few details, and then we've got a timeline. You need an assistant ASAP, and so on. When you've decided that the form is good, then you submit your job. What happens behind the scenes is that we get the submission, I get the submission, I see it. And if it's a real submission, because again, we'll talk about security in just a bit, but we occasionally get, spammers. And so I approve the submission, which means our sort of behind the scenes engine looks for the assistants that could be a good fit for you and recommends them to you via an email. So you submit your job and you'll get an email. It depends, but usually about an hour or so later. And an email will say, we saw your listing. We think that so and so would be a good choice and would be a point. It's up to you as an author to reach out to the assistant and to decide basically which one you want to go for. You can by all means reach out to more than one assistant and get different quotes, and then we're sort of leaving you open and leaving everything to you because we can't charge for this service. And on the other hand, we think that, it's better if you interact directly with the assistant and right go. So this is one way of getting in touch with an assistant. The other way, which might be a little bit more focused, is to go to the assistants direct. So this is the directory of all the assistants we have available right now as of today. We actually had all these on the first row, and Alexandra are new, so welcome if you're here in the audience. And we've got quite a few, as you can see. But the interesting thing is this category sort of tree that reminds me a bit of the Amazon category tree that you get on Kindle. This kind of helps you dial down your search a little bit more. So, for example, if you're looking for cover design, you would click on cover design and you would get people who specialize on cover design only, or maybe they have listed their specialty on cover design as being one of the ones they provide, because some people can do more than one thing. Others are focused on only one service. Others are offer more than one service. This category tree here is always growing, because when we set out to build the site, it was very, very small. It only had 5 or 6 categories. But as soon as we get applications, as soon as we get new assistants or even requests by authors, we're always adding new categories and always refining so that it's the best way for you as an author to find who, the correct match that you're looking for. And I've got something to say about this in just a sec as well. So let's say, for example, that we want an editor and we click on Sarah's here. So this is what you would typically see on a profile. See, all of this has been written by the assistant and has been approved by us, which only means we just double check it for inconsistencies and things like, typos and weird formatting issues that can come up. But this is all basically curated by the assistant themselves. What you see here is also the specialties that the assistant has selected. So you can hire Sarah for editing, proofreading, publishing, or research. And then you can see the location if maybe you're interested in that. But most of all, you can see here that the assistant has communicated. Now, let's say you think that Sarah might be a good fit for what you need. Then all you have to do is fill in this form, which is very, very similar to the other one I showed you. But the only thing is that this form only goes to Sarah. It still comes to us first, because again, we want to protect both you and the assistant in terms of, not spamming them with weird bots trying to get in touch with them. And once we approve it, it gets to the assistant immediately. At that point, it's up to the assistant, and we really, really ask the assistants to be as fast as possible to get into and to, respond to your request. So you would get an email from Sarah in this case saying, yes, let's hop on a call, or let's, discuss more. And from that point onward, it's the same as it was before. You two are in contact and you decide how you want the contract to be signed or how you want to work together. We actually sort of get a cut of the profits from the assistant. We don't have anything to do with that. We are purely at this stage a way of getting you in contact with the right assistant. Like I said before, if you want, you can go back and in case you might want to select somebody else and post another request. And so you can do, shop around, as they say, and see who is the best assistant for you. So this is the sort of architecture that is behind the site. It looks simple, and it is simple, but it's not easy, because decided to develop this on a platform that is called Webflow, which is not typically very, I mean, it is, pretty common these days, but it's not as widespread as WordPress, because this allows us to do lots of things with automations. It allows us to do lots of things with storing the data in a safe place, in this case, Airtable. And so it's not, like I said, it's not difficult to set up, but it does require a little bit of work. And that's why sometimes there might be a little glitch here and there, but they usually get resolved pretty quick. So from an author's point of view, this is essentially all that you need to know. The interesting thing, obviously, is that it's absolutely free. The reason why we wanted to make this free for authors was obviously, attract as many authors as possible, but also show you that there is help waiting for you, and there are lots of ways in which you can get help. Like Alexa said before, some things you might think you need to learn and have a very, very sort of steep learning curve, but also things that you might never have thought that you could outsource might be just taken off, an hour or two off of your to-do list, and that would obviously be very, very beneficial. So this is the way BusyBee works for authors. Now, as of yesterday, we had a meeting with our developer, and we've decided to implement a few new features, which are very, very interesting in my opinion, and which are going to take Busy Bee to the next level. Like I said, we are always seeing it in steps. We want something implemented, and then we want it to work, and then we move on to the next thing, and then we want that to work. But we are implementing quite a few new features. So from an author's point of view, you will be able to create a profile. So you will be able to log in to Busy Bee through a portal, which is now available only for the assistants. But as an author, you will be able to do that. So that essentially you can have a profile there, and you don't have to input all these, details every time if you make more than one request. And sort of you have your home on Busy Bee as an author. A very, very interesting feature that we will have is a direct messaging feature between authors and assistants, which we think is going to be very, very important, because, of course, it eliminates the friction. On one end, you don't have to, exchange emails, wait for the email to arrive, but also it keeps everything on Busy Bee so that you get a notification when you get a new message from the assistants. And so it's going to be much better user experience for authors and also for assistants. Another thing we're going to implement is a sort of an improved functionality as
Brian, that it's cutting.
Also into
that whole thing just cut out. So the next improvement is
okay. Did you hear me talk about the author portal?
We got the author portal, and then
Cool.
it started into the next improvement, and it went funky.
Okay, so the next improvement is going to be making the search a little bit better, because we do have the categories and we keep adding them. But for example, if it mentions she's worked with Stephen King, for example, we would like to have a bit of a global search within the website, so that you can find, maybe even refine your search a bit more. I think the big thing is going to be the messaging and the improved search, but also the author portal. We do have more sort of improvements. We're going to have a onboarding process for authors, because sometimes it's going to be a little bit difficult if you find yourself having to log into a portal. What do I do? What do I add? We're going to have improved onboarding, and also the ability to sort of list the project that all the assistants, like I said, up to now, when you go into this, we send the brief to the assistants that we think are a good match. But with these improvements coming soon, it's going to be a bit like a job board. So the assistant can go on to Busy Bee, and there's going to be a new job posted by so-and-so, and they can decide, oh, this is for me, I should, get in touch with the author or not. So these are the big sort of improvements that are coming very, very to the site.
Cool.
I can talk a little bit about the assistant side if you want, or we can answer questions.
Hold on, let me see what I still had. If you want to end your share there, let me see what I still had in the slides to come up after this. And there are a couple questions that I do want to address before we move on. First, a clarification on I see a lot of people reacted to the pricing. You're not going to find people on this website at the $10 an hour range, just to be very clear on that. Almost everybody working here is experts at what they're doing, or are not almost everybody here are experts. So that was just a ballpark number that people think they can get, but it's not going to be, you're looking at 25 all the way up to hundreds of dollars per hour, depending on the skill. So, or maybe even thousands. So not per hour. but for the package, especially like the editing. So just wanted to clarify that. Okay, let's see. The other thing we're getting, let's see here. You did the demo. Oh, yep. I want to share this really quickly because I want you to everybody to see where you can get your worksheet, which we will also drop in the chat. Do you want to address the questions on vetting providers and how people get on this? There's lots of questions on that as well. Or do you want to wait till the end of that after you talk about how we bring in the providers?
Yeah, it's probably better to leave it
All
to
right.
the assistant section.
Okay. All right. So let me go back to the presentation really quickly. Okay. So again, I promised you a worksheet to help you hire a team. It's basically, if you go to wearebusybee.com/register/WIP, you'll be able to download or sign up for a basic workbook that'll help you ask you some questions to think through in terms of what you need, how you're going to get that support, all the things that you can do. Let's see here. Let me drop that link in there so it's in the chat and we can move on. And this will help you really come to think about the tasks that you need help with and what type of budget you have for those tasks, what things you can do versus what things you'd like to have someone else do. This is not just to clarify, it's not going to be helpful for like finding an editor or finding like I assume that for the book production side, you're going to need to find a cover designer, a formatter, an editor, maybe a publisher or publishing coach. So this is more for the other things that come with the author assistant, thinking about like writing your blog post, doing your email stuff, doing text stuff, running ads, all of those types of things. This will be really useful for you in those categories. Okay, Brian's going to talk to you about the directory, and then we have a coupon code for anyone who might, if you're a service provider here and looking to join the directory, we'll drop this link and coupon at the end. So I'm going to stop. Let me just see here if there's, nope, that's okay. That was the end of my presentation for today. So we'll drop that after he talks about the directory, how providers get in there and all those other questions. And then we'll do some Q&A.
Yes, we're back to Busy Bee. Can you see it?
It's loading. There we go.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So as an we call everyone assistants. So this is the language I'm going to use. It's basically the other side of the coin, obviously. Very, very easy to sign up. Very, very easy to manage pretty much everything. I'll just show you how the flow sort of works when you sign up as an assistant, and then I'll talk about a few improvements we have coming. So when you join as an assistant, if you click on the, can you see the other page?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a few, a bit of FAQs, and then you can decide if you want to join. And we have a special coupon for you for this webinar. But once you have essentially joined, you will be getting to this, which is a application form. Now, this goes back to what I was saying before, because all the data is stored in a secure database on a software called Airtable. I don't know if you know it, but it's pretty much like a spreadsheet on, super powered spreadsheet. And so this form allows us to collect the information from you. You fill in all the information and everything that applies. And once you submit it, with the power, once again, of automation, I receive the application, and I, at that point, see if everything's okay. This is where the vetting process comes into play. And somebody had a question in terms of the assistance. I can do, or we can do, as much as we possibly can. So verify the websites, verify that you don't exist anywhere on internet as a fraud or scammer or anything like that. So we do our best to vet everyone, and obviously if somebody is accepted but then turns out they're not complying with terms or anything like that, they'd be kicked out immediately. But once we get the application, we go through it and we then approve it. It is manual at this point, especially because we want to manually have a look at the application. And then once we click a button, you get added to the website immediately. You get displayed both on the homepage. This is still set to the latest sort of application gets displayed first, but obviously you are inside of the general directory as well, and also in the categories that you've selected on the form. If by for any reason you made a mistake or anything else, we do have a portal for assistance, so you can actually log in when you are on the home page and you click on this. It says assistant login, and this is where you essentially can modify your anything you want to modify. You want to add a few things, you want to change your photograph, anything like that, you can modify through the portal. This is the way it usually works. And now, once you are on there, you will get notifications from both general sort of inquiries like this one that we saw before, but also from direct inquiries. So if somebody comes to your profile, they will get in touch with you, and you will get an email that says new request on Busy Bee. You had a request from Mr. So-and-so. This is what they wrote. Please get in touch as soon as possible. At that point, it's up to you. Again, I wanted to stress that. It's up to you to get in touch with them as soon as possible. Why should you get in touch as soon as possible? Well, on the one hand, just, as out of being kind, but also because there might be others who are getting in touch. And so, you might lose the job if somebody got there before you. So you don't have to, race and go crazy as soon as you receive the email, but just as soon as you can, try and get in touch. The other thing I wanted to talk about was these new updates we have coming for the author side of Busy Bee, but also for the assistant side. The assistant side, a little bit less because we've done more work on the assistant side recently, but there will be, obviously, like I said, the direct messaging feature. So that's going to be very, very important. Also, there will be a bit of a improved onboarding workflow. The one you see now is still going to be, it's pretty much going to be like that, but we will guide you through a little bit more because we've seen from people onboarding that there have been some questions and things weren't super clear. So we're going to improve that very, very soon. And also, which has been something that a lot of people requested, you will be able to add and remove things from the portal. So the portal now just modifying things and making tweaks and adding things. If you want to remove things, like you no longer want to share this thing, I don't know, this your rates, you want to remove it and start again and make a new submissions, you will have essentially more power for as an assistant on your profile without having to wait, or write to us to make the changes. So this is we're very excited about the new features coming, but this is the way it works for assistants. We are starting to have quite a few requests pretty much on a daily basis. So we're very happy. And I'm happy to answer any other questions.
All right. Let's stop. There we go. Okay. So, this is it's a new service. It's out there. I've seen a lot of people asking about Fiverr, if it's like Fiverr, if it's like Reedsy, all those types of things. It's absolutely not like Fiverr for one very big reason. And one, it's not low budget like people coming in who there's no vetting process. Anybody can throw themselves up on Fiverr and go through it. So and we also, the other thing is that we're very particular about people who work specifically with authors. So we may have somebody eventually who comes in who's a Facebook ad expert who maybe hasn't worked with authors before, but they're an expert enough that they can do that. My Facebook ad person, for example, does not, I'm her first author, but she does phenomenally because she's a Facebook ads expert. So, there's things of that line that come in there. But let's see, we've got a lot of questions in here. I don't know how many we're going to get through, but we'll do as many as we can. Okay, so Deborah says, I'm looking for someone who's not necessarily specialized in one or two areas, but like I was someone maybe almost like she's looking for an executive assistant. Who can I funnel a variety of tasks to? Yes. So basically the answer to your question is you're looking for an admin assistant, and there are people in the categories of admin assistants, and you would just go through and look through those. What do you do if you're socially awkward, so networking is hard for you? That is a whole different question, Debbie. And you just have to learn how to network the best you can and or find other ways. The thing about book marketing and these days is there's lots of ways that you can market your book without having to be in person and live. If you don't like being at those in-person events, you can do podcasts, you can do webinars, you can do things that put you more in your personal space. Okay, this is a good one from someone. As a copy editor, can I strictly work via emails, no phone calls or Zoom? Absolutely.
Yep, definitely.
Just convey that to your authors. Now, you may have people who there may be times where you have to have a phone call, especially if ships are crossing in the night and it's not, the information's not getting back and forth, but I don't see why not. Are the assistants and service provider, okay, we covered that one already, vetted, yep. Where are the expert bios, and do you vet them to check to make sure their credentials and experience is accurate?
Where are they?
Well, I think we answered that by showing the demo there, and if you drill down to
Yeah.
each page, you can see them.
Yeah, and they get sent to me in the application form, and so I see it before I put it on the website, obviously.
In terms of the vetting, I just want to be very transparent about it. Like we're not going out and interviewing each one of these people and making sure that everything, but they have the opportunity to apply to us. And as long as things look legit, which it's Brian, has been in the industry for a long time, it's pretty obvious to see when people are legit or not. However, we're not necessarily going out and interviewing or doing anything above that level. Right now, almost everybody in the directory, either Brian or I know personally. So it's been pretty easy to vet because they're from our communities and we know them. As we grow, that may be something that we have to figure something else out. But it leads me to another point that says just because you meet someone and you're connected with somebody on the site does not obligate you to anything with them. Just like anybody else, just like if I were to say, hey, I know Brian, he does Facebook ads, and connect you to Brian, or Amazon ads and connect you to Brian, it's still your responsibility to check Brian out, to have a conversation with him, to make sure things feel good, for you. That part is your responsibility as the person hiring them, to make sure everything is a-okay. And that's with any hiring site across the board, whether you're using a VA hiring site, a Reedsy, or anything. It's your job to do your due diligence to make sure that everything is what it is, and get those things in place. And we do want you, if at any point in time anything happens with somebody that's not good, or you have an issue, to please let us know, because we will make sure that people who are not behaving properly are no longer part of the directory. Do you want to say anything else on that?
No, definitely agree. I mean, the reason why, and I comment and read the comments. The reason why we did this was because we wanted people who knew how to work with authors already. We don't want you to hire somebody and spend 2 or 3 weeks teaching them how to upload a book on KDP, because that's
Yeah.
gonna that you know that's beyond the point. And so we wanted people who are experts with authors. Fiverr is obviously cheap, and actually sometimes not too cheap these days. But you can get people who've worked with all kinds of clients. It doesn't do all assistants. I know for sure because Ricardo, the founder, told me they're not going to. And so this was something that we found was missing. And like Alexa said, she gets an email pretty much on a daily basis on where can I get help with this and that. I do too, because I'm Amazon ads agency. And so, yeah, in terms of the vetting, like Alexa said, I totally agree. We know more or less when an application, and up to now we've never sort of rejected anyone, basically, because really professional people. But if something slips through the cracks, we'll obviously be sure to take care of it.
Yeah. A couple of questions that I'm going to combine in here. We do not handle payment between author and author assistants or editors or anything. That is completely our job, is to match you up with somebody who might be a good fit. It's then
No
up to you.
commissions.
Right. No commissions. We don't handle any of that part. Everything is handled. Mediations, in anything that would happen, should any of that stuff, that's all with directly with the freelancer that you have paired up to. But again, should anything negative happen on either side, we also want to protect our providers. So if we're getting people that are being very, very difficult, we will stop connecting them to people through our site as well. And yes, somebody asked if I'm a part of this. Yes, Brian and I are partnered together on Busy Bee. So we are working together. And for our service providers, we do about a quarterly training and networking, because it's really important to us that other people know who's on the site and know each other and can refer each other. And it's really meant to be something that's not only a benefit to authors, but also a benefit to the service providers in our community. And so, this is new. It's only been in place, what, about 6 months-ish, maybe a little longer than that, but it, constantly working to improve the experience for everybody involved. And really, really, as someone who is, invested in this, also want a place that I can send all of my authors who are saying, how do I find somebody like Rachel who can help me with my branding and marketing? How can I find Dana, who's an editor? How can I find Tamian, who's a cover designer? Tamara also. So, we want to make it as easy as possible, instead of every time I get this email having to go through and pull out, here's all my people, here's the thing, all of those things. So let's see here. No, we do not. In fact, this is a great question, Claire. Thank you for this. Reedsy has created a filter that only lists people who've worked with New York Times bestsellers. We're very passionate about matching indies with indies. Not to say that somebody who doesn't work on the traditional side or looking for those can't find a spot with us. We're happy to do that too. There's a lot of great people in the industry all around. But no, you don't have to have worked with a New York Times bestseller to work with us. I don't know. Brian and I have never worked. I have never worked with a New York Times bestseller, and I'd like to say that I do a lot of great things for authors. So same with Brian. Yes, Kimberly, feel free to share this with all the authors you know. If you would like to tell everybody you know about Busy Bee, please send them our way. Payments. Sorry, Brian, I'm just like flying through these, but payments handled,
Sure.
taxes, all that stuff, all of that happens with under the contract with your freelancer. Let's see. It is wearebusybee.com. Okay, you found it. Okay. If you would like to add your service to the directory, you go to wearebusybee.com and you click on join as an assistant. Because we are new and because we're still implementing changes and all of those things, we're offering a $50 off coupon as we build this service. So you can use the coupon code Alexa50 to save $50 if you would like to be added to the directory. The platform is free for authors, absolutely. And yes, providers pay a fee, and that goes into the marketing that we do, that goes into our time, that goes into the costs of hosting it and the platform that Brian's using and all of those types of things. Yes, a rating system for assistants is coming. That is part of the upgrades. How do we make money? Currently, it's only from the membership fees that are coming in. So at some point in time, we're probably going to have to figure out some other ways to make money because that's gonna not quite keep up with the cost of development, it's et cetera, et cetera. But how do you get paid as a service provider? You're going to actually work that out with the authors that come in, and you would charge them just like you would any other freelance project. What else, Brian?
I don't know if we mentioned this, but for service providers, assistants, if you want to invite a colleague when you think would be great, we have a affiliate link for you. So not only you'll be giving them a great service, but also you'll be rewarded a little bit with an affiliate link. So
Do you have that link? I can grab it if you don't have it easily available.
not at the moment. So
The annual fee is $197. Someone asked that, and with the discount, it's $147 for a year of marketing and basically being in the directory and all of the things that go behind that. Also the networking and the training that we are doing with our group of assistants and all of those types of things. And yes, Kristen, you are absolutely 100% correct on that. Just the fact that we charge a fee eliminates a lot of people that aren't legit. So that is a great point on that. Okay, I can grab that as well. The affiliate thing. I don't know if there's any other questions that you've seen that you would like to answer or address, Brian.
it's really.
Yeah, we're really excited about this.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you while Brian's looking through these questions and making sure there's nothing he wants to see. We are both very, very, very committed. I know my community knows me, and Brian may be new to you, but I've known Brian for a long time and I know how he is. And we are both very committed to helping, not hurting authors. That's one of, I feel like that should be my motto on it, is because, you know, I've seen so many horrific things happen to people. We can't provide a 100% guarantee that there's nobody on this site that at this point in time we can. I can absolutely 100% guarantee everybody on this site right now, because like I said, we know all of the people who are in here. But we do our best to make sure that both our authors are protected and our service providers are protected. And what we want to do is help you move forward. Like Brian's point of, if you just go to a general book market, just a general marketing company or firm, or a general admin assistant firm, like they might have great skill sets, but if they've never worked with an author before, it's really hard for you to get what you really need out of it, because you're coming to them to help you solve the problem that you need as an author. And if they don't understand the problems of an author or what it's like to market a book or help an author grow their platform, experts can learn, of course, but we want people who are focused on authors from the get-go. So yes, there is a recording of this. And Angela asked how I do it all. I'm so glad you asked, because I have an amazing team. I've hired all of these people to help me. That's exactly how we do it all.
There's a
So
star rating for you there as well.
what's that?
That's a star rating for you as well on that comment.
Oh, thank you.
3 stars. Nice.
Thank you. So okay, well, I think that's all we have. Listen, I didn't have time to go grab if anybody's interested in using an affiliate link to share about the directory, if you have friends that might want to be in there, we can grab that for you later. Just send us an email and I'm happy to get that for you. And we will put this replay up. It's live on our Facebook page right now. So if you go to Women in Publishing Summit Facebook page, not the group, the Facebook, the public page. You can see it, and it will be loaded to YouTube, which is youtube.com/write publish sell under the Write Publish Sell branding. So we can find that. Brian, you have any closing thoughts or words?
No, I'm really excited. I have been excited about this since day one, and I'm seeing slowly it taking shape. And with all these improvements, we're gonna get a really nice site and really useful, hopefully. So yeah, can't wait for you all to join us.
All right. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us today, Brian, and obviously all of our attendees as well. Don't forget on Tuesday, if you're looking for information on PR, marketing, and building a media kit to work with the media, Paige Dungan of the Front Porch Collective has a free webinar with us at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time zone on Tuesday. So you can register for that at womenandpublishingsummit.com/events. We have lots of stuff happening every single month. That's the best place to go over and find out what is going on. And of course, we'll send you emails about all the things. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day. And I think it's Thursday. It's almost the weekend. It's, what did Chelsea call it in her session with us from Lulu? She said it's mini Friday.
Yeah,
It's mini Friday. So
Friday Eve.
yes. All right, everyone. Have a good one. We will see you soon. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.